friends, welcome back. If you're anything like me, I'm pretty sure you've already seen UI designs with awesome animations that kind of look like this, and I'm pretty sure you've been jealous over one as well. And so in this video we're going to learn how to create this milkshake app UI design entirely in Figma in less than 20 minutes. So let's just get started. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video and leave a nice comment in the comment section. You can find all of the images we've used for this UI on my site Srivastava.com on this link linked in the description as well. So just download all the images and let's get started. We'll start off by opening up Figma. Create and set up a frame. The first thing you do absolutely is just to go to the bottom and click on one of these phone UIs to create a new UI. So the first thing we're going to do is MacBook Pro 14. Let's do MacBook Pro 14, and I just want to make sure that we actually have an outer frame when you go to the prototype section. So when you do prototype this UI, you actually are able to see the outer external border of the UI itself, which is going to be this one. So check it out. This looks super duper clean, super duper nice, and building it on this UI would be much better as opposed to a plain rectangle, which is why we're making sure to choose iPhone 16 Plus. Download and import the images from the link in the description from my website veerashrivastava.com. With that done, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to our files and get all of the different files that we've downloaded. Let's go to our downloads folder, and we have the 8 main images to get us started. Create the first frame. Let's get started with our first UI, which is going to be this one. Super awesome. Alright, we're going to get started with the first image. Let's just drag this guy in the middle, nothing to worry about at all. And today we're going to do something fun, which is instead of changing the background color of the frame, hear me out, we're going to create a circle which is much larger than the actual frame, make it cut across the frame itself, and then when we click on the circle itself, that's going to sort of come out from in the middle, and that's going to change our colors, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. Instead of changing the color of this frame, I'm now going to create an ellipse which is really large in size. I'm just going to press shift, and that's going to make sure this is equally scaled, so the width and height is equal when I press shift along with the mouse. So I'm just going to align this perfectly in the center and have this be at the bottom of our mobile device. Once that is done, we're going to go over here, change this fill to a radial fill, and also make sure this radial gradient is sort of skewed towards the bottom because we want it to radiate out of the image. That is always the goal. With that done, we're going to change the color of this circle to gray instead of brown. And now we're just going to do a lighter shade instead of the gray, just so we have something nice to pop the whole thing out of. Let's just have this change colors. Check it out. It actually looks really nice. Like, this looks genuinely bright and awesome. And you can do a lighter shade if you want, but honestly, this works for me, so I'm just going to stick with it. The next thing I want to do is get my fonts right. So the fonts that we're using today are a special one. This is Statliches as the title font, and also Inter as our main font. So I'm pretty sure you're already aware of Inter, but Statliches is a new font. It has been around for long, but for us it's new. Chocolatey Delight. Wow. Statliches. This is really complicated, by the way, to type out. Anyways, now we're going to increase the font size to 96. And once that is done, let's make this go over to the new line. And once that is done, we're going to align it in the center, reduce the font size some more. You know what? 72 might be a little bit better suited to our use case. Remove the line height. Align it perfectly in the center, and then maybe increase the space some more. Let's give it an 84 font size, because why not? You know what? I want to make this a little bit smaller. Let's just work around with the font sizes, see what works. And with that done, next we're going to add our logo. Just to do that, sidebar, we're going to get Iconify, which is an icons plugin in Figma, and get a milkshake icon from there, just so we have a simpler path in making the whole icon. So we don't want to spend a lot of time doing that, which is why we're going to go over to our screen, get our perfect Iconify plugin, search for it if you have to, and get our perfect icon. Let's search for milkshake, and we're just going to get any one of these icons. It really does not matter which one you get. Let's import this guy, import it as a frame, bring it over to the center, make it smaller, change the color to white, and reduce the line height by a whole lot. let's select this frame, bring this over to the top, remove the extra plugins and whatnot, bring it over to the center, make it smaller once again, add it to the top left corner, reduce the line height a little bit, and with that, check it out, ladies and gentlemen, we have a logo so quickly in the UI itself. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is obviously get our text. So this is a huge chunk of text. I highly encourage you to pause this video right now, type this out. Once you've done that, we're just going to add this text over here. So let's just go over here and I'm just going to paste this text with the same exact style. And now to style our text, so you can just pause the video, type this out in the same font that we have already. And now we're going to change the font family to Inter. And then we're going to reduce the font size to 20. You know what, 20 is too big. I'm just going to change it to 16 because why should I not? It's a delightful festival of changing font sizes. I'm just going to shift this above and I'm just going to make sure this is perfectly aligned. In fact, we need to make a little bit of space for the call to action button, which is right here. So we need to shift these above instinctively. Let's just shift them above. And now we're just going to shift this above as well. We can bring this down if we want to and then have a little bit of space there ready for our call to action button, which is also really, really important. And now we're just going to bring this down here, make sure everything is perfectly aligned, add an arrow, which we can just do on our own, and just draw a line here. This is just really, really simple stuff. Go over and change, you know what, just as soon as this ends, change one of the endpoints to an arrow, and that's just going to be it. This is like the simplest thing ever. The endpoints can be an arrow, and I do want to make the arrow a little bit bigger. I'm certainly hoping it does go a little bit bigger, but even if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure we can figure out something else. Check it out, this looks really, really nice. The other end is going to be rounded off, which is also quite nice. And obviously we're going to make it even smaller, so we didn't even have to get another icon for this. This is like the simplest hack anyone is ever going to give you to make arrows. This looks incredible, and we're just going to get this down here, make it smaller. Obviously this is so funny because it feels like I'm scaling a whole 2D thing when it's just a single line. I'm just going to align this in the center perfectly, and with that done, we now have a UI that's pretty damn close to the stuff we were aiming for. But we're not done yet. There is still a lot of stuff to do, which is why I'm so happy. And now we're just going to go over to the radial gradient, make sure it comes out perfectly from wherever our image is. That's the primary goal. The next thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to get all of these images of marshmallows, make sure they're perfectly aligned. So let's just go over back, select the both of these, just drag your cursor and you're going to select the both of these, copy and paste them and just bring them over here, select one of these, bring them down here. You can use any point of rotation you want, make sure it's present inside of our frame, make sure this is present behind this image, so right click, send it back, and then maybe bring it in front of our ellipse, lock the ellipse in place because you don't want it moving around. You want the radiance of the radial gradient to come out from behind the image, which is very, very specific to us. With that done, the next thing we're going to do, and the last thing we're going to do for this UI itself, is just get these little images over here. And now I have all three of my images. I'm just going to rename this to C. So we're just doing ABC to name these guys now. Just hold on a minute, and we're going to change these names to A, B, and C. And the reason we're just doing A, B, and C is because when you have these names B, A, B, and C, then it becomes really, really easy for Figma Smart Animate, which why that is, I'll just get into that in a little while. So just hold on with me for that. And then we're going to make sure they are just randomly wherever we want them to be. Just send them to the back and then bring them in front of our ellipse. Check it out, this actually looks really, really nice. And once this is done, this is like genuinely the perfect UI. And now we're going to create 5 more frame copies. We're going to duplicate this a bunch of times, which is 5 more times because we need to make 6 different screens. So let's just do that. Change all the supporting images. And now I'm just going to go over here and replace these images. I'm just going to upload one from computer, which is the next one. And I'm just going to do that for a whole bunch of other UIs as well. So I'm just going to crop this image, make sure we're taking up the perfect amount of space we need to. Let's just do one thing at a time, batch it together. This is going to make your workflow so much quicker, so much simpler, and honestly very, very organized. We're just going to get each one of these as they come. You can change the image positioning with the crop fill right over here. And then we're going to do this once again. Let's just upload another one from the computer, get this guy in here, and just change the fit to, change this to crop. Oops, change this to crop, and then maybe shift this a little bit over here, make it a little bit bigger. The next thing we're going to do is change this image once again. Obviously, you guessed that right if you did. We're going to get all of the images that we're working with today, because that is very important. And lastly, we have this image. Let's just change this as well. And once we have a reference point for all of the images that we're going to be changing, it is now that we can change the background color. So this just makes your workflow so much more simpler, because you know which image to change. So we're just going to add these perfectly in the same exact position. And now we have all of these images. I feel like these aren't necessary right now, so I'm just going to get rid of them. And also these marshmallows are too redundant as well. And with that, we're now going to start changing all of these images. But before I do that, I feel like it's the correct point to acknowledge that these marshmallows need to be rotated a little bit. And the reason I'm doing them right now is because these are very, very visible with the color black, which is why it's just quicker and easier to just get them rotated randomly while we are at it. So let's just change the rotation a little bit, and you will see why I'm doing this in a bit. So you'll actually be able to see the advantages of just randomly rotating them really, really soon, I promise. I'm just going to rotate them randomly. Doesn't even have to be the perfect direction, the perfect point. You can just go over and rotate them however you like, just the randommost stuff. And let's just get this over with. Change all the background colors. And now we're going to change the background colors as well. This is just really, really simple stuff. We're going to go over to the ellipse that we're using and then change the background color. So for the first one, we're using a bright pink, which we're actually going to source from inside the image, just work our way to a perfect color. And then the next color is going to be a light shade of pink, which we're going to get from the center as well. Check it out. This actually looks really, really nice. It's really bright and gradient and fun. The next thing that we're going to do is obviously change the colors once again. Repeat the same process 6 times. All right, let's change the text, because I can't tolerate the word chocolatey on the color pink. This is pain to my eyes. Horrible. You can pause the video right here, copy and paste all of these if you want. I'm just going to copy and paste it, because if I started typing it, I can guarantee everyone watching this would run away or just cringe or give me a horrible compliment in the comments on how horribly slow my typing is, which is not something I want to read, honestly, after designing the whole entire UI. So I'm just going to change this text really, really quickly. And the point I'm trying to make today is the order with which you use these guys does not matter. You can use pink first, orange first, whatever it is, and you'll be fine. You'll just be fine. Just copy and paste the text. As simple as that. Let's just copy the text, paste it back. Let's just paste it here, match our exact style. We're going to change all the supporting images. Go over to individual folders and download our ABC images, just so we have some sort of structure with the way we're doing this. So I'm just downloading 3 other images, hoping those download quickly. Let's go over here, change this image to our first image. This is A. So we're going to get, and I've done ABC for these images just so you know where to position things. So now you're going to position the pink A exactly in the corner that we were working with. You can resize them if you want to. In fact, it would be preferable, because honestly, these are different sizes, and just using your eyes where you need to would be much, much better. Let's just get these over here. All right, we'll repeat it again 6 times. Check it out. We have all of our frames ready, but we are not done yet. The prototyping part is just barely getting started. Before we prototype, we need to set this up. We've already gotten so good at 6 different screens. This was the simplest thing in the whole wide world, but we're not done. We are not done yet. Let's unlock all of the ellipses, because it is finally time. The ellipses said something. And it's now that I want you to change the name of ellipse. So I want you to call it pink ellipse. Pink E. I'm just going to call the ellipses E and then just change all of these names because, and you're going to see why in a real bit. Brown E. Let's also go over here, change this to yellow E. Go over here, change this to orange E. Change this to purple E. And finally, surprise, surprise, change this to gray E. No, I'm kidding, green E. With that done, now we're going to select all of these circles because there is so much fun in these circles. Just select them all. And now you're going to see the actual reason we were so keen on prototyping them. So we're just going to get them out here. This is our group of circles. We're going to make sure all of these are in front of each other, and as soon as that's done, we're going to have a master group which we can honestly reuse 6 different times. With that said, now we're just going to take this whole group and we're just going to copy it, and we're creating an entire copy of this group by pressing shift because we don't want to get rid of the actual group itself. We're going to have to reuse it, or if we lose it, we need something. And then we're going to get rid of the brown from over here, select all of these, send them, make them smaller firstly, send them in the center of the screen, and then finally send them behind our main circle. And then when we click on it, the circle that is pink E is in this small and hidden state, which will come out in a big external state in the next frame, and that's going to give us a splash effect, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, just follow along to the steps and you will start to see why we're doing things the way we're doing things. Just make them as small as you want to, these circles, and get rid of the same circle as the pink E. So if this is the pink frame, you're going to get rid of the pink E from over here. So only one of each can exist at a time, if that makes sense. And now we're going to get rid of, we're going to get another one of these groups, put them right here in the center. Now we'll repeat the same exact process 6 times. And make sure we have a purple. Yes, we do. Prototyping. And now, ladies and gentlemen, animals, pets, friends, whatever you are, we're going to prototype. This is the moment of truth. We're going to just change this to the next guy. Animation style is going to be smart animate. That is really important over here. The style for animation is going to be gentle because bouncy gives you a lot of jarring issues from Figma and WebGL, which you don't want, especially if you're using Figma on a browser. So I'm just going to keep this universal, and then you're just going to change it. So it's going to be smart animate gentle. Navigate to smart animate gentle on tap. And with that, check it out, you guys. Oops, check it out. We have successfully completed this, and make sure to link your last screen to the first one. People forget this all the time, and then it's a one-way street, which is just weird to watch. Time for the final UI. I'm just going to close off everything else and just go over to our grand UI, the stuff that we have been making. Let's check what we made. Weird but true. Check it out, you guys. This looks incredible. This is so nice. This is everything we were hoped for. I know my voice was really loud pitched when I said that, but these circles come up on their own when you click. So wherever you click, these circles change their color. These shapes also rotate a little bit. These marshmallows are always rotating. Can you just see the white guys in the background? These marshmallows are just perfect to get your attention to the right object, which is the product right now. They're just rotating so well, and this is the best UI I've ever made on this channel. I'm not even kidding right now. Add this to your portfolio, get all the images for free, like this video, say something nice in the comments, or just subscribe. Good night.